Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Chill with Will. I'm Will, and I hope you guys have been having a good week. My week has been pretty good. I've had the week off from work, so I've been chilling really. I got family visiting. I got my mom, stepdad, my stepsister, and my niece down. So yeah, most of my time has been spent keeping them preoccupied. But I did kind of want to talk about tonight uh, just sort of the way things are right now and just how everything about what is happening in America right now spills over into like every facet of life, and it's really weird because we're doing normal vacation stuff. It's my niece is 5. It's her first time in California, so we're like trying to take her to a bunch of cool spots and stuff, and she's having a grand old time, and I'm very very happy about that. But in the back of my mind, I'm still paying attention pretty much to everything that's going on this week. I haven't kept up with every single news story that's happened this week. I have managed to disconnect a little bit, but obviously I don't want to disengage completely because with the speed at which news moves now, I don't think it's a good idea to. So the world is still whack, and there's still a lot of scary shit happening. And even this week, stuff with ICE happened that is semi-personal. There might be stuff happening with them in the future. I'm waiting to see how certain situations pan out. We're waiting for more information. And, shit is still whack. And it's weird trying to, take these guys around and show them all these spots and, have a good time. Meanwhile, in the back of all that, in the background, it's all kinds of horrible shit still going on. And I don't know. It's such a weird time because I feel like I'm reaching a breaking point where I definitely need to find an outlet where I can help more, because I don't feel like I'm doing enough personally. Like, I'm just, speaking about myself. I feel like I could be doing more. I always feel like I could be doing more. But, like, especially with this, I just want to help, And it breaks my heart seeing all these horrible things happening, specifically with ICE. The ICE has been the thing that has been particularly getting to me. Seeing, video after video of these stupid people in fucking masks kidnapping people off the street, putting them in a car that doesn't have any license plates or markings or anything like that, and just taking them away and thinking that shit is okay. And it's especially egregious because, like, some of these people are people of color, and it's like, you don't have any shame. Like, you don't have any kind of shame about what you're doing. And if you do, is it just outweighed by the check you're getting? Because it's like, that sounds so pathetic to me. Like, and I know that they're offering all kinds of signing bonuses right now because they're struggling to recruit people. So, I mean, that's a good sign, that they're struggling to recruit people. But the fact of the matter is, people are still going in and applying and taking those jobs. And that's the part that is, like, upsetting me still. That people can still continue to keep working for this organization that is essentially the American Gestapo. and I don't know, just not feel any type of way about anything that they're doing. Like, I guess it still surprises me just how cruel people can be. You know, we've all seen a lot of cruelty since Donald Trump was sworn in again. But especially the past few months, it's gotten a lot worse. And I guess it shouldn't surprise me, but it still does, because like we've seen it building and building throughout the past like 10 years that this man has been in the political scene. And obviously there's been like atrocities happening before all that, but it's so much happening all at once. And you know, obviously they're doing everything so that way it stresses all of us out and we get overwhelmed, and then ultimately we don't really do anything. But and moments like this is definitely when we need to kind of lock in and try and focus on the one thing we can, you know, help with, and then help there, and then have other people around that can help us fill in gaps in areas where we're lacking knowledge. Because like with everything happening as quickly and as often as it does, you know, not everyone can keep up with everything that's happening. Like, you can know a lot about what's happening with ICE right now, but I can't tell you what's going on with Alligator Alcatraz right now, like specifically that, or what's going on with the Supreme Court looking into overturning gay marriage. You know, not everyone is going to be able to tune into every single facet of everything that's happening, just because we're still expected to do our normal work bullshit, capitalism and all that, and continue surviving. But it's hard to keep up with all that stuff if you're worried about, you know, getting your bills paid. And that's sort of like that's sort of the gag of it all, to use a term like that. I can't think of anything better to say. But, you know, everyone's so stressed about living that they can't focus on all of the things that are impacting them. Now, obviously, some of this is just people being willfully ignorant, because that's just a thing people really like doing nowadays. And there's not much you can do about that. You just kind of let people be ignorant about certain things, and you just gotta kind of roll with it. In my experience, like, you could explain everything to these people, but sometimes it's not gonna click anyway. They need to hear it from someone else. So, you know, I'll bring stuff up, you know, if someone's talking about something, but ultimately, you know, them finding the information is kind of on them, or at least being willing to listen to it is on them. But yeah, all that to say, you know, ICE ain't shit. I hope, you know, as we get further along on this show, I feel like I just need to talk about these things because it's what's happening, and it is like the only way I can think to cope with all of this stuff, because of course I have like friends I talk to about this stuff, but I do feel like, I don't know, it's important for me to just kind of put my thoughts out there and see if it resonates with anyone, if anyone else is feeling the same way, because I don't know, right now it feels like what I can do to contribute is just kind of let people know they're not alone in feeling overwhelmed and just sort of at their wits' end with everything. The shitty part is, it's like, I sort of just assumed, given the layout of my family, that all this ICE stuff would eventually, it would eventually start affecting me in some kind of way. I'm not going to be one of those stupid white people you see on TikTok who's going, I voted for Donald Trump and I didn't know that he would take away my immigrants that work for me. I don't get how people can be that stupid, but there are a lot of people like that. It's ignorance, it's stupidity, it's bigotry, it's all of the awful things, and it's a result of keeping so much of the American population uneducated. And, I'm sure most of the people who follow me know that, but I know there are at least a few of you that don't know that, because some of you have followed me for years, and you would get all up in a tizzy when I would talk about politics in the past, and some of you still do. And I just want to make sure we're on the same page that this is my show, so I talk about whatever I want. And so if I'm going to make the pivot to politics, you can either come along for the ride or not. And it doesn't really affect me either way, whether you're here or not, because I want people here who are willing to listen to what I have to say and why this shit is important. Because so often I just hear from some fucking redneck in the middle of fucking nowhere, Kansas, trying to explain to me things about immigration when every one of their family members is a fucking United States citizen. And then you're trying to explain that to me. I know I may be white, but contrary to what you might have perceived, half of my family are immigrants. My grandparents are immigrants. I care a lot about that stuff. I care a lot about that part of me. And I feel like if my grandparents were still around, they would want us to try and figure out a way to help people as best as we could. So that's how I feel like I'm helping and, continuing their legacy, is by making sure my family can stay here and making sure that they don't get fucking kidnapped and sent back to a country that they haven't been in like 50 plus years. Because that's fucking insane, dude. That's the part I don't get, is we keep seeing, or we kept hearing, right, when they started talking about mass deportations, right, getting rid of all of the criminals, all of the, whatevers. But yet we see video after video after video of these fucking creeps that in ICE going to court hearings, going to places of work, which is ironic because they also said that the immigrants are lazy and they don't fucking work. So it's like, it's so many contradictory statements that I'm sure people with a brain could fucking put together, is obviously a lie. But obviously the MAGA cult and a bunch of other idiots in this country didn't fucking realize that shit would start affecting them pretty immediately. And it is pretty infuriating. So I don't know. Ultimately, I'm just sort of scared right now, if I'm being totally honest. Thinking about this whole week with my family being here has been great, and it's been nice to see them all. But it certainly is weird thinking about everything that's happening in the background of all of that. It's because all those things are still happening. All these videos are from the day of, that I'm seeing of these ICE raids or whatever. And it's just crazy that I can be over here with my niece being Uncle William, showing her all kinds of cool stuff, taking her to the fair for the first time, and, going to the beach and all this other shit. And then meanwhile, families are being ripped apart and people are being kidnapped, And the thing that's especially getting to me is I don't know, like, I feel like people are being too afraid to intervene because I don't think enough people recognize the power that we have over these people, over ICE. Like, because I just see people watching this shit all happen, and it's just like, it's infuriating when it's a crowd of people, and it's just like, there are so many more of you than there are them. And you could easily overwhelm them and get that man out of there, or that woman, or whoever the fuck they are trying to kidnap. But I think people are just so scared that, like, something will happen to them. And it's just like, I think we're past that point where you can use fear as an excuse. Like, we have to push past that fear and help anyway. And I think it's time that people start doing that. Just get involved, you know? Because there are people who have been helping, who have gotten involved and stopped some of these raids from being successful. They've stopped some of these kidnappings from taking place. And I think if we all recognized that we can stop them, then we would be more willing to take action when the moment finally comes. Because, mind you, I'm seeing a lot of these things on a phone, you know. I have yet to see the raids in person, but they are happening in places that I frequently visit. So I know they're there. I definitely know they're there because other people are reporting them there and providing pictures showing them there and videos. But I have yet to actually encounter these things. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe it's just from, like, consuming superhero media for a lot of my life. It's just like, I feel like I would not be able to just sit by and watch something like that just happen without trying to help. Because, like, if there's one message I took away from all that silliness, it was definitely that you should try your best to help people. And especially help people who are not doing anything wrong. And that's the case in most of these instances that we're seeing. So, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. You know, I did just want to mention it. It's been, like I said, it's been nice having my family here and visiting. But it is also a weird time for stuff like that to be happening just because of things just continuing to happen in the background while they're here. But I definitely want to lock in a little bit more when it comes to helping out with just anything right now. And whether that be immigration stuff or community groups to help stop these guys. I want to do what I can to help. And if you guys are seeing this stuff happen near you, I hope you are feeling the same way. And I hope that you are feeling encouraged to help and get involved. And how people help is totally different. It might not look like much, but you doing something little is better than not doing anything at all. And I think that's always important to keep in mind. Because a little bit of something is better than complete inaction. I think fear stops us a lot of times from doing what we know is right and what we are called to do. But we gotta push past it. I think it's important to do stuff that's scary. I feel like if it's not scary, it's not really challenging you. And that's sort of where I'm at this moment in time. So, you know, we'll see what happens with all that. But, you know, just, we're just going to hope for the best. I I hope you are all enjoying yourselves, and if you are close with your families, I hope you continue to watch out for one another and take care of each other, because that's very important. So thanks for tuning in tonight, you guys. If you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're watching this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. If you want to keep up with anything I got going on, you can follow me on anything pretty much at Willie J. Co. And you can just find me that way. And that will be it. So until next week, I will see you guys next time for another Friday Night Chill.